Hello, everyone. My name is Judy Barriga. I'm from CLT en Español. Today with Count on Me CLT initiative from the Mecklenburg County in the effort to give information and resources to our communities in COVID on pandemic time. Today, the topic is economy in pandemic. We're going to talk with some experts giving us advice, answering your questions about grants. But for that, co-hosting with me today is Lloyd Whitfield Jr., business owner for Fat Boys Tires and Auto, and co-host for Jack of All Spades podcast. Welcome, Floyd.
Yes, thank you for having me, Judith.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, that way people know who's co-hosting with me today.
All right. I'm Lloyd Whitfield, co-owner of Fat Boy Tires, Charlotte, North Carolina. I've been in business for 15 years here, automotive service, and as well as a co-host for Jack of All Spades podcast. Jack of All Spades, we cover Charlotte, North Carolina, separate gems that are in the city as far as artists, musicians, bartenders, service industry. We shine a light on everybody and give them the opportunity to speak on what they've been through and what they do.
And I think that Lloyd for today is a perfect co-host because he's a business owner and an entrepreneur. And the questions for today are that. And the expert as guest today is Dr. Shanté Williams, who she is the chairman, board of director for the Charlotte Mecklenburg Black Chamber of Commerce. She will be answering our questions today. If you have any comments or questions in this topic, please feel free to put them on the comments here in this show. Welcome, Dr. Shanté.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I guess going straight to the topic, I would like to know you as a chairman and representing the Charlotte Mecklenburg Black Chamber of Commerce. What are your point of view in this economic, pandemic, and how business are reacting and how they are getting affected?
Well, 2020, I'll just call it, has thrown everybody for a loop. So I'm also a business owner in addition to running the Black Chamber of Commerce. But I will say it has shown a light on a few different areas. One, those businesses that had been taking all of that business training and advice and had enough money in the savings and were prepared for an economic downturn have fared better than those who weren't. What we're seeing across the board is people are having to become much more nimble and much more flexible about how they get their products to their customers, how they control their supply chain, how they find the proper ingredients or the proper pieces for their inventory. So it's 2020 and then and currently in the pandemic, everybody's having to be really creative. And the good news is entrepreneurs are used to that and figuring out how to make things work. The bad news is some of that making things work depends on money. And one of the areas we're focusing on with the Black Chamber is making sure that business owners have the money that they need to make these pivots.
What are now that you said that you guys are making sure that those small businesses have the money, that's the interesting part, right? We wish that everyone was prepared, but the truth is that not everyone, were prepared. We were already in a difficult situation, I guess, already. But what are the resources available for a small business in Charlotte to get that money?
Well, I won't belabor the point with things like PPP and other programs that have shown themselves not to be very accessible to minority businesses across the board. But I will say from the City of Charlotte perspective, the City of Charlotte is still running its COVID-19 relief program. So it's offering $10,000 to business owners with 5 employees or less. They're also offering up to $25,000 to businesses with 5 or more employees that have been affected by COVID. And that particular program is run out of the City of Charlotte, but they're accepting applications until August 31st. So that is a program that has helped give some business owners relief as they move forward. And I can tell you that the documentation specifically for that program is very lenient, and it is helping to streamline the process. It's a very easy process to go through. From the Black Chamber perspective, we actually launched a grant program called the Back to Business Technical Assistance Grant. And what we are doing is having business owners come to us, tell us, their pivot plan, and we're covering the cost for that pivot plan. And what we found is a lot of business owners coming to us asking for things like virtual platforms or how to beef up their website to handle traffic. All of those things are costs that we're covering at the Black Chamber.
Okay. I appreciate all that information. Quickly, I wanted to ask, I know when the first COVID-19 Relief Fund Act came about, there were a lot of businesses that didn't get access and the well ran pretty dry pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Is there any action that's going to be taken maybe to make some resources more available to the people who might have missed out the first time?
I'm going to say this in as nice a way as I guess I can. I wouldn't count on the federal government to do anything in the short term. Frankly, we've seen that their tolerance to help out true small business owners. And when I say true small business owners, I'm not talking about the federal definition of 500 employees or less. I'm talking about those of us that are solo entrepreneurs or have, between 1 and 20 employees. I wouldn't count on the federal government for that. But what I will say is I've seen a lot more lending and availability on the private institution side of things. So, for example, a lot of people use PayPal as a conduit for them to conduct their e-commerce business. They are offering up help. I've seen a lot of private funds and fundraisers specifically geared towards helping small business owners. Now, I will say that, you always have to read the fine print and be careful, but there is a lot more movement from banks, especially small banks these days, that are making resources a bit more available for business owners. And a lot of them are geared specifically towards people of color. From the Black Chamber standpoint, I hate to keep tooting our own horn on the grant, but I will say that we are about a third of the way through our funding for business owners. So we still have capacity to take on some other businesses to help mitigate some of those costs.
Okay.
Two questions come to my mind, and I don't even know which way to go, but you mentioned the fine print. And I think that's very important. And a lot of people have questions. Are these grants and funds, are loans, are credit? Do I have to report it in my taxes at the end of the year? Because a lot of people are not applying because they are afraid, like, okay, I'm getting all this money, and then how do I pay it back? It's all mine. I have people that is even confused with the regular, relief funds that they're receiving from unemployment. They don't want to use it because they don't know, what's going to happen, from where it's coming from and where it's supposed to go. So what about with small business?
So let's talk about it in 3 buckets. So let's take grants. Grants, if it is a grant, then no, you are not expected to pay it back, but you probably have some very specific reporting requirements. And so some of those grant programs are going to ask for receipts. They're going to ask for proof or documentation or some sort of report. Now, grants are completely, quote, free money. However, you will need to report them on your taxes because the IRS is likely going to count them as revenue into your business. So I tell this to business owners anyways, but you should definitely, when you're taking these COVID funds, be talking to an accountant or a bookkeeper, because you want to be able to keep track of this money because it will need to get reported on your taxes. So everybody that receives a grant likely has to fill out a W-9. That W-9 actually does go into the IRS and it goes into the system. So you want to make sure that what someone else reports that you receive for your business, you actually also report, or you might end up in some hot water. The second bucket is really pursuant to loans. Now, loans you have to pay them back in general. So I'm going to talk broad brush here. And there's some sort of interest rate attached to that payback. So when you're thinking about taking on loans, for example, you want to make sure that you're able to handle the payments. I've seen, some bad actors currently in the market where they're offering up these loans to people. However, the interest rate is significantly higher. And so the payback is going to be very difficult for business owners. So loans, you have to, tread lightly, look at the payback period, look at the interest rate, look at what the start of that repayment is. Now, I will say if we look at the PPP loans or loans that came from the federal government, Those loans have some forgivability, meaning they can act more like a grant rather than a loan that has payback. But again, they have very specific requirements. So if you're a business owner that hasn't been really good on receipts and documentation, you want to make sure that you are keeping close track of how you're spending those funds. And then the third bucket is really the private sector, whether that be private investors, angel investors, other people who are just looking to become maybe partners in a business. That's a different bucket of money, and that's going to be a situation where you really want to pay attention to, how this money is coming into your business, whether it's a loan or whether you're giving up a portion of the business to this person providing you the funds. So, the easiest answer is make sure if you're not financially savvy, you're working with a bookkeeper or an accountant to make sure that your taxes are going to be on track for the end of the year. But also make sure you look at and understand how much cash flow or money you have available to repay any of these obligations. So grants are always the safest, and then everything else is going to require you to do a little bit of homework to know what your potential availability is.
Okay.
Count on Me, really quick, an intervention. Count on Me CLT. It's an initiative by the county department today with CLT en Español, and also co-hosting with Lloyd. Please correct me if I'm Lloyd, as guest, Dr. Shanté from the Charlotte Mecklenburg Black Chamber of Commerce. Economy in pandemic time. I know that it has been very difficult for a lot of business, and that is why we have these two guests and co-hosts today, because we want to touch all the little details that you need to know. So send us your questions, please, in the comments, and we will make sure that we read it. And so we understand grants, loans. What is the Charlotte Mecklenburg Black Chamber of Commerce doing for the community? You mentioned a grant.
Mm-hmm.
Are you people with this specific grant helping them to get to another resources?
So we're administering this grant directly via the Black Chamber, but we're also connecting people, business owners that come in that may need additional help with our partners in the ecosystem. So whether that's the Latin American Chamber of Commerce, whether that's the Charlotte LGBT Chamber of Commerce, we're connecting people with the Regional Business Alliance and other banks. As we see these funding opportunities come through, we are absolutely helping to connect business owners at all levels, whether the money's coming directly from us or from other partners.
And we're sharing with you guys all the websites where you can just click on the comments. You will find the links easier to just click. I guess, going back a little bit, you said that there is different type of grants, there is different type of loans, and credits. And is there any like a special requirement? And I don't want to say requirement. I want to say industry. Are these grants focused to a specific industries, or everyone can apply?
I'll say this, generally speaking, most grants are geared towards those businesses that have been directly affected and called out because of the quarantine periods or the stay-at-home periods for states. So, of course, at the top of that list are going to be restaurants, gyms, any industry where there's direct customer access or contact. So that's probably going to be the first tier of assistance, especially as it relates to grants, is those businesses that you can say, hey, our governor or our federal government shut down this thing, and now I can't open because of that regulation. So those are probably going to be tier one. Tier two is just as important, of course, but that's then looking at people who, if you were, let's say, a speaker, and that's how you made all of your money is through speaking engagements. Well, yes, we have virtual, but I'm sure that's not replacing all of the income. That would be an industry that would be indirectly affected because there are not large gatherings. I will say across the board, if you are considering a grant or a loan, definitely look at proving or being able to prove exactly how you were affected by COVID. So it's not enough to just say that, there was an economic downturn, but you want to be able to say really specifically that this happened during COVID, this is what I would have been making, and this is how I am out of pocket or upside down. So that's really what's going to be key. And I've seen most grants really be very lenient, saying, yes, we are focused on the directly affected businesses. However, if you have documentation or proof that you're also affected, we'll take that into consideration. So it's been pretty widespread for industry.
Lloyd, I don't know if your business, you as a business owners, have you been affected? Have you been seeing a difference? Because everyone would think, you work in the auto, industry, but some people are going out, some other not. Are people, expending their money on there? What is your experience as a small business?
We were absolutely affected. Everybody probably seeing a difference in the beginning, money changes. So yeah, we were affected. You've seen service slow up, but we are also an essential business, so it's helped. There's been people who needed auto repairs, cars. I will admit I've seen a lot more people maybe come in now that their cars are a little bit more trouble than they should be, because maybe some people are trying to get a little bit further on less. So we also understand that and try to help people as much as we can.
Mm-hmm. As a small business, you said that you're essential, so that's good. That means people are going, right? Are using your services, which is good. But as a business owner or with other people, have you seen what kind of help is people looking for? What kind of support they're looking for?
Well, I feel like everybody's getting a little creative now. It's not easy just to do the regular anymore, and everybody's trying to find their way. So, as far as us even, when service slowed up, we decided to do a mobile mechanic service where we'll come to you, or if you're at your job and we can make it more convenient, we're able to help people. It's kind of the times we live in at the same time. Everybody's being more convenient on their business end. So we're trying to connect dots as well.
But the being creative is not working for everyone, Dr. Shanté. I know that some people are trying and they're trying hard. Can you advise when is a good time to say, let me take a break? Let me pause my business. Let me not apply for a credit. Let me not apply for, a grant, and just take a breather, and wait until all this tests.
Well, I'll say a few things. That you're right. There's only so much time in the day for Zoom calls or mobile delivery, right? So I would say to every business owner, it is definitely necessary for you to think about your business individually. So as you are looking at, okay, do I have money, for example, to redevelop a virtual platform, then market it, and then try and reach my customers in a different way? I would say everybody should be taking that pause in general, and then being honest about your current capacity and what it would take to build that capacity or get those things in place. But then I would tell every business owner that I'm intersecting with is, who are your customers? If your customers are people who like to physically walk in the door and your physical doors are closed, then it might be time to say, okay, how do I press pause and think about doing something else, at least for a little while? I start there, because if you don't have customer flow, then things are going to be very different from you. So you have to know a lot about the kind of customers that utilize you, the kind of what your customers are really looking for, and what they found as valuable for you. I know it's a difficult decision to let go of a business. I talked to a business owner a few days ago that had been in business for 30 years, and they made the very decision to walk away because they did not see a path forward online or with mobile. And so they had to decide, how do I wrap things up and really, decide to walk away from the business, which is a heart-wrenching decision. But you got to start with what's really feasible. And I tell people the hardest thing for us to be to ourselves as entrepreneurs and business owners is to be honest with ourselves. We want to believe that we can do it and we can navigate around anything, but really being honest about, who are my customers? Are they going to come out and support me? And do I have the capabilities to really turn things around? And I always say, as just a final note to entrepreneurs, having to close your business, especially during an economic downturn, is not, a nail in the coffin. You can always walk away. Don't incur a lot of debt. regroup and then come back stronger in a different sector, because all of this experience is learned experience, and it's going to be very valuable.
I would love to go back to the grants and stuff, but yeah. I don't know. Oh, do you have any other question?
No, she's covering a whole lot. I appreciate it.
I know, I'm learning a lot. And this is why I talk about this topic, because for everyone to know, we're trying to reach out to, all the community and all minorities. And we're doing these shows in Spanish on Mondays and in English on Wednesdays through CLT en Español. And this is an initiative with Count on Me CLT, o Vamos a Cuidarnos CLT. So please make sure that you guys tune and share these videos for our community to, keep and be informed and know about all this. The question is, before we go back to the grants, because you just talked about, it's okay to go back, regroup, and come back, right?
Yes.
It's a good time to invest or to open a business, because I know that everybody thought 2020 is my year. And then 2020 had her own plans or his own plans. So, yeah.
Well, I will say, for full disclosure, I am an investor. So as I'm a private investor and an angel investor, also I run a business full time where we invest in companies, and we have not slowed down or stopped investing. So if you are a person with money looking to invest, this might be a really good time to see some opportunities that might not have been available before, and really being able to make a real big difference in your community or for business owners. So for me, I've made 3 investments since COVID has started. So 3 investments in about, 5-6 months here, when generally I do 3 investments in a year. So yes, it's a good time to invest. Is it a good time to start a business? I would also say yes. There's a saying that I like, and it is, millionaires are made during an economic downturn. So during recessions is when a lot of people actually decide to start businesses, and they start working on them and they build them back up. So when the market turns back, they are ready to rock and roll and capture that momentum. If you're considering going the entrepreneurial route, again, take the necessary steps. There are a lot of free resources to help you set up your business now, that will allow you enable success in the future. And then one final note on that, think about really being, if you happen to be displaced, let's say you lost the job during this time, and you think, I've always wanted to work for myself, this is a great time to dust off those business plans or those aspirations, because there may be more opportunity than you might think to get things set up properly, get structured, get the assistance you need so that you're ready to start generating revenue. So I'm always a person that says there's always opportunity, even if 2020 had a different plan in mind, and taking advantage of the opportunity, whether it be time or additional resources that weren't previously available to business owners or entrepreneurs. This is definitely a time to go ahead and press forward with all of those ideas.
Does the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Black Chamber of Commerce offers this kind of support for entrepreneurs and people that wants to start their business?
We do. We offer some one-on-one, what we call business coaching or business advisory services, which whether you are a new business owner, entrepreneur, or an established business, you can set up a one-on-one call with us. It just takes sending us an email at info@cmbcc.org and saying, hey, I'm interested in having a business consultation, and a business coach will talk with you about your business, maybe even brainstorm with you for free. But we also send people to our partners like SCORE. SCORE is an excellent resource where they also have these mentors available. Also, Central Piedmont Community College has a small business development center, the Women's Business Center. There are all of these pieces and moving parts that offer these same kind of coaching and brainstorming sessions. And it includes how to set up your business, but then can we connect you with resources? So yes, we offer it, but we can also steer you to a host of other partners that do the same work.
Wow, okay.
That's good. Well, we're in conversation with Dr. Shanté, chairman for the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Black Chamber of Commerce. Economy in pandemic time is not easy for a small business, so that's what we're learning. I think main topic it's grants and resources. So I would love to, before we go over again, You mentioned what the Black Chamber of Commerce has. Is there any other organization or entity in the county that are offering grants?
Yeah, so definitely from a business assistance, and that's not direct money into your business, but to help with some of these other things that you might need, definitely Carolina Small Business Development Fund is an organization that is offering this type of help for business owners. Mecklenburg County is offering, I believe they're loans, but they are offering that assistance to more established businesses, not necessarily to entrepreneurs at this time, I don't think. And then again, the city of Charlotte has a grant program that I champion. Yes, the Open for Business. I challenge everybody, apply, because it's so easy. And if you apply before August 30th, you are in their system. And so they'll be sending out these $10,000 or $25,000 checks on a rolling basis. And that could represent a significant amount of help and support. And the requirements aren't very high. So I would say if your next stop is applying for a grant, make sure you have applied for the Open for Business grant with the city of Charlotte.
Okay. That sounds like a good grant.
Yeah, yeah, it is tremendous. And I will say from a paperwork standpoint, generally, if you have been bootstrapping or paying as you go to try and build your business, it may have been hard to have an accountant that prepared all these fancy documents like with other grants, but this one in particular is really accessible. So definitely want everybody to be aware of that. And then, one other grant that is available in the city of Charlotte. So round one of the Small Business Innovation Funds were awarded about, I think, 3 weeks ago with Charlotte City Center Partners. They're gearing up for round two. And that means that there's an opportunity for you to take those pivots. I love the fact that Lloyd said that they pivoted and figured out how to be nimble and mobile. But that particular grant, it is a grant, is geared towards people who are being innovative. Now it is people within 2 miles of city center or looking to move into city center. But that's another grant opportunity that's coming up that will definitely be something that can move the needle. So check out Charlotte City Center Partners Small Business Innovation Fund.
Okay. That's a good information to have. I didn't know about this one. So just to be clear, we don't have to be completely in debt and about to close our business to apply for these grants and funds. Because people are really, like, do I need to be broke and, to be able to do this? No. Yeah.
Yep. The answer is no. And that's across the board. I always advise businesses and people in my network, always apply for funds before you actually need them. Now, we all are in some sort of need right now, but you don't want to be, let's say a turkey sandwich away from being, starving. So you want to make sure you're applying and being proactive and looking at, how long can I really sustain what's currently happening? So I would say apply early and make sure you're staying on top of it so that you aren't in such a desperate situation. Because I find with business owners, the longer you wait, we don't want you to be out on the curb or, with a mountain of bills just yet. If you have that mountain of bills, then that's when bad actors in the business community can come in and offer you something that won't be good for your business long term. And so you don't want to be in a situation where you have to make, sort of these desperation decisions.
Okay. Dr. Shanté, you spoke on a small business advisory program where you guys kind of direct new small business owners. Is there anything that small business owners like me can do to help get the word out on that? Because I run into a lot of people who come to me and they ask me some of these questions that you guys are probably answering. As well as myself, it's always good to stay updated and fresh on what's going on.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can kind of help or get that word out?
Yeah, you can send people, like I said, we have seen such an influx of contact into the chamber. So I would say, yes, spread the word and tell them, stop by the Black Chamber and send us a message and directly just say what it is that they need. And we have been connecting people to resources. So just spreading the word, I can tell you, it hurts my heart a little to know that not everybody knows that we have a Black Chamber of Commerce, but just getting the word out there. Hey, check them out. Send them a message. Somebody will respond to you within 72 hours, and they'll get the ball rolling for you. There's also a few helplines. One of them is being manned by the Charlotte LGBT Chamber that does the same resource connecting. So spread the word and just, tell everybody to go to our website. Our new website is www.cltblackchamber, spelled out chamber.com. And that's got, our contact information, and definitely push people there and tell them to send us a message. And I'll tell you a new feature that we rolled out because 2020 just kind of put everybody in a tailspin. 2 features that are new. You can join our business directory for free. So if you want to help get the word out and promote what it is that you're doing, I encourage people to go ahead and get into the business directory and put their information in, because we see about 15,000 hits on our website a day. And I know that people are going to the business directory. And then second, in order to join the chambers, actually, we do have a free membership that gives you access to all of the things that we're doing. So we want to make sure that we're being as flexible and as helpful as possible to business owners. So definitely tell them to hit the site and send me a message. I do see a lot of the messages, so sometimes they will get a direct response from me and getting them business help. So.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to make sure we share all these links with you guys on the comment, and share this video too. Share
Yes.
the video, that way people can get into the conversation. And if anyone knows about other grants going on, we talk about a small business, but there is a lot of industries. We have the independent contractors, the freelancers that they need to survive too, and they cannot apply for a lot of these grants, but there's some other help out there. So make sure that you guys please share this video and share information with us in this conversation.
I'd love to add a point to that, Judith, and that's just to say to people, if you are a solopreneur or an independent contractor, a lot of these programs that have the technical assistance portion, so they're offering up this grant to people to connect to other business services. You may want to just send that organization a message and say, hey, I am an independent contractor and this is what I do. I'd be happy to service any of your grant recipients where it makes sense. I encourage people to do that on the Black Chamber side of things as well, because the more businesses we can support either with grants or by writing checks to support those services, the better.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, do you have any other question, Lloyd? I know it's a lot of information to digest.
I want to watch it over. I'm going to watch it again.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Shanté, for your time, for all the information that you have shared. Thank you, Lloyd, too, for being with me today and to share your experience as a business owner. Sometimes as a business owners, we have, more questions, and sometimes it's specific depending on the industry that you are. So thank you for your feedback and for participate. Just again, to everyone, this is an initiative, Count on Me CLT, and COVID-19. Let's be together. Let's put our mask on. Go and look at the link, please, if you guys are looking for places to get tested, to get a free mask, to look for resources. Count on Me CLT, they have it all. At the very bottom, you will find links to all the grants that Dr. Shanté talked about it today, and other organizations, as well to the Charlotte Mecklenburg Black Chamber of Commerce. But thank you very much. Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.